Well, Bitcoin having a nice little bounce today so far. Figured yesterday the morning live stream out in the backyard with some coffee was rather successful, so I figured we'd do it again today. So, yeah, Bitcoin, like I said, crypto having a nice little bounce, kind of a mixed bag across the crypto bubbles this morning. Um, I think it'll be more aggressively green as we move into the afternoon today. Nothing too crazy. I mean, Bitcoin's going to struggle with resistance. I think around 94K. We got some there. Uh, Chase the cat. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Um, but yeah, here's the thing. We do have, guys, I talked about this on the Patreon last night. We do have two CME gaps to the upside we've created. We have a CME gap at 106, or sorry, 96, sorry. And we have another one between 104K and 110K. So, I mean, in the for me, in the potential worst case scenario, would be a bounce to fill those CME gaps, and I think the lowest we would get is somewhere around 110K. And if we reject off of that and come all the way back down, well, then that would be a head and shoulders pattern on the daily time frame, and Bitcoin would be going down along with the altcoins into at least around the 200-week moving average, right, on the weekly time frame, which is around right now 55, $60,000 is where it would come down to. That's a big picture thing, though, right? That's just a hypothetical. That's not something I'm saying is going to happen. So, um, too many times when I lay out potential possibilities, people say that that's what I'm calling for, because they don't listen to everything that's being said, right? They just hear what they want to hear and then they run with it. So, I always have to enunciate these things multiple times so it kind of processes in some people's heads. Um, but that's a worst case scenario for me. I mean, worst case scenario is it just go straight down. But I mean, I don't think that's realistic. I think we see a bounce, um, and we move back to the upside. Doesn't necessarily have to be today or tomorrow, even though today's going to be a nice little green day. Bitcoin's going to have to get back above 96,000 first, 94, and then 96, fill the CME gap, and then it's got to work its way back up to the CME gap around 104 to 110K. And then we'll have to go from there. Really, we'll have to take it from there to know what direction, Bitcoin's going to go. Is it going to reject off 110 and form a head and shoulders pattern coming back down, or is it going to break through 110 and put in a new all-time high? Right? Both are possible. That's why you have to pay attention every single day. So good morning, everybody. Listen, it's a great day to have a great day, guys. Just chilling out in the back, morning live stream with you guys. Ty, good to see you, man. H. Barbarina in the house. William, what's going on, man? Uh, OG says, I blame Ken. Yes, absolutely. um, we're going to blow past 110K once we're close. I hope so. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. Kevin, good morning, Big Kev. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, man. So yeah, you know, that's kind of what we're going to be paying attention to moving forward, um, and we'll have to take from there. Let's get through the CME gap at 106,000, or I don't know why I keep saying 106. Let's get through the CME gap at 96K. That's the first thing we need to do, right? Now, I think we're gonna struggle with resistance though at like 94.5, which we've rejected off the last couple days. So, and we're rejecting off it right now. We're struggling with it today. Even though we're green, it's crazy that we went all the way down to $89,000. Isn't that crazy, guys? Like 89.7 or 89.4, I think, or something. That's insane. What would make that even more insane is if we did recover and uh, and put in new all-time highs. That would be crazy. That'd be a crazy correction. People would look back at this moment and laugh. They'll laugh at themselves, right? You can look back at yourself later and be like, oh man, yeah, I thought it was over. It could very well be one of those moments too. So, Danny, good to see you, man. Evening, it's morning, brother. How about Zebek? Yes, Zebek had a little bit of a correction last night. Um, Zebek might actually stay red today because you have The funny thing is about Zbeck, when everything was dumping yesterday, Zbeck was pumping. It was green. Zbeck always seems to be inverse correlated to Bitcoin in the market. So it might not be, not financial advice, but today might not be a bad idea. It might not be a bad opportunity to scoop up more Zbeck, to be honest with you. JB just joined. Well, welcome to the family, my friend. Welcome aboard. We love having you, man. We love having you. Mr. B, welcome to the member side. Welcome, welcome. Um, Guys, if you're new here, I would encourage you to jump over to the Patreon. I will put the link in the description later. It's not there right now. You can find it in one of our other videos, but join our community over there. We are setting up a lot of plans. I've been putting a lot of content over there lately. The last couple days, making sure everybody knows what's going on, making sure everyone's trying to keep their head on straight. I've dropped 9 new trades in the last 48 hours over there, too. 9 new trades. Chris says Jesus is king. Amen to that. Jesus is king. Absolutely, brother. I agree with that. It's evening here. Fair enough. Fair enough. Big Kev dropping that $2 super sticker. Says Pico and LFG up like 5% today. Let's go. Yes. Showing a little bit of strength in Pico and LFG. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, we got Patrick says, what's going on? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, it's, you know what, guys? It's crazy how nice it is out, right? It's you know, we're nearing the tail end of November here. There's not even a snowflake on the ground yet. It's absolutely wonderful. Danny, good to see you, my guy. Good to see you, brother. So, a couple things. So, I just kind of wanted to touch on. Now, first would be everyone saying that 126 was the top for Bitcoin. And listen, I've talked about it a lot lately. Maybe. Entirely possible that that was the top. Okay. I would say, though, that technically, the same people that are saying that 126 was the top are the same people who were saying that the 4 year cycle was dead. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? If 126 was in fact the top, that means that the 4 year cycle is still intact because Bitcoin would have topped, what, a month and a half ago, which would have been the 4 year cycle. So then, if they were wrong about the 4 year cycle being dead, like, which one is it? Which one are you wrong about? You're wrong about one of them, right? There's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's just that the point I'm trying to get across is that if 126 was in fact the top for Bitcoin, then the 4 year cycle is still valid. But yet I'm still seeing people on the internet this morning saying that 126 was the top, and in the same breath, they're saying that the 4 year cycle is dead. That doesn't make any sense. Because if 126 was the top, it played out inside the 4 year cycle. Right? So what are you talking about? Which one is it? You can't have it both ways. Wise Tron, what's up, man? Good to see you. Crypto J505, where have you been? Gengar is in the house. What's going on, man? So yeah, 4 year, if that was the top, then the 4 year cycle is still intact. Now, as for whether it was the top or not, well, I mean, that's yet to be determined, right? Uh, Also wanted to talk about the Solana and XRP price action. Uh, Moving forward, guys, Solana and XRP, I think, are vastly being underestimated in the big picture, right? For me, now that they have these spot ETFs and Solana, for example, having like 7% APY on staking for their spot ETF, that changes the game for XRP and Solana. For me, it puts them right up there as super long-term holds with Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? With their spot ETFs. That's only going to increase their value over time. Not immediately, but eventually, right? Um, what do we got here? DH says, nobody can tell me why the CME gap must fill except the orders must be made by TradFi. Uh, DH, I put a full comprehensive breakdown explanation to the in regards to the CME gaps over on the Patreon. You're over there, so Go watch or go read those explanations that I put. I break down fully what the CME gap is. I break down why it needs to fill, why it generally does fill. And just so you know, 80% of CME gaps to the downside fill, 100% of CME gaps to the upside fill. So in my opinion, we are going back up to at least 110k. I think it's 110,500 is where the CME gap needs to be filled. So, um, what's your opinion about Telcoin? Great project. Telcoin's a great project, and they finally, we dropped Telcoin over on the Patreon about a year ago, and it had barely had any listings, so a lot of people were having trouble finding it. But you know, once they got that news the other day, last week there, about the banking, their banking license or whatever it was, I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, then they suddenly started getting listed everywhere, which means access to liquidity, a lot more wallet holders. Very bullish on the future of Telcoin for sure. Very positive. Very, very bullish on Telcoin. So, yeah. But back to the Solana XRP price action. Don't let short term noise and static shake you out of or confuse you as to what you're holding, right? There's too many content creators out there that use stuff like a spot XRP ETF news, and then they start promising like a $100 XRP in the short term as a result, right? And that's just not the case, guys. It's not going to do that in the short term, but it will do it in the long term. Well, not necessarily that specifically, but it will do great things for the price in the long term, right? It's like buying. It's like we were talking about this the other night over on the Patreon, Spencer, and shout out to Spencer. We were talking about, you know, a lot of this stuff is like getting in on stocks in the late 90s before, you know, there was the Amazon stocks and the Microsoft stocks and the Google stocks and all this stuff. It's like getting in before that with a lot of these projects, right? And they're long-term holds, and you should have a long-term mindset. I'm talking like 8 years. I've said it before. I don't really know many people. I don't think off the top of my head I can think of anybody in crypto who made seven figures before 8 years, before two full cycles. But yet you have all of these new people coming into crypto thinking that they're going to become multimillionaires in like 2 months. I've been trying to spread the message for 3 years now on this channel that, guys, you got to have like an 8 year mindset. You have to think about it in the big picture. You have to form a strategy and you got to stick with it. And you need consistency and patience. And I've pounded those two things home for 3 years. And people tell me, yeah, Rob, patience, I got it. Consistency, yeah, Rob, I got it. There's those same people that are freaking out right now, losing their minds about what's happening in the short term with the price action, right? Um, what do we got? Passenger says, "Hey Rob, I know that you are not going to do it, but can you tell Hara Japan that the passenger says hi?" How do you know I won't do it? I will be going to lunch with them too. How do you know I won't just randomly say, "Hey Hara, by the way, the passenger says hi"? He'll just look at me like, "What?" And then I'll say, "Passenger said you'd understand." Just confuse the hell out of him, right? Parallel Life, loving the beard, Rob. Thank you so much. Yes, the Santa beard is growing in nicely, getting close to Christmas time. Mario says the crypto IPO phase. Yes, exactly, Mario. Exactly. Uh, I just want six figures. Yeah. Well, once you make your first six figures, it just gets easier from there, right? So it's got to hold on and be strong, man. Hugo says a lot of bottom indicators in the chats lately. Yes. Silly bottom bottom boys. Oh, that's good. That's good. Bottom boys. Oh man. Oh, I needed that good laugh, Hugo. Good one, brother. Good one. Uh Chase the Cat says, ask him when the main net is going to be launched. For sure. That's one of the questions. I'm sure he's going to want to talk a lot about Junction and the main net and the Junction token. I'm going to talk to him a lot about the staking rewards, like the node operating. Sorry, and I'm also going to talk to him about when staking will be available, when the Jasmy Super Wallet will be available, because we know that the Jasmy wallet will be launching after the mainnet launches so that we can stake on their DeFi protocol and gain hopefully massive APY. I plan on trying to find out if we're going to have, if there's a projected percentage in terms of APY right now, like what it's going to kind of start with, you know? So, or who is Satoshi? Yeah. Yeah, he'll say David Schwartz. That's what he'll say. It's David Schwartz, 100%. So, yeah. Anyway, what else do we got on the agenda this morning, guys? Guys, it's a great day to have a great day. I hope that you're out there. I hope that you're feeling positive. Say something nice to somebody today. Make somebody's day, guys. Right? Make somebody's day. That's what I would say. Joy, good to see you. Good to see you. Another thing is that if we want to quit seeing these breakdowns to the downside, people need to stop with their long positions. Stop with the leverage trading to the upside like that, because every time we get even the slightest bit of long positions, they get liquidated and it pushes us down a couple thousand more, right? Despite the fact that there's like one of the most lopsided ratios when it comes to longs to shorts that I think I've ever seen at this point. The shorts are just unbelievable. It's like a big juicy steak sitting there waiting for market makers to come along and just liquidate all of them, right? It's crazy. We going to the moon or what? Says Potato Head. Yeah, eventually and inevitably. So yeah, so I mean I think it's that could be the thing that pushes us up to that $110,000 CME gap. Eventually is a short squeeze, right? That could push us up there, but we got to break above 110K to invalidate a head and shoulders pattern, right? So Danny says, work. I had already shifted my mindset from taking profits around December to working extra. Yeah, got to be ready to pivot on a dime, brother. H. Barbarina says, ask him about what is planned to get Jasmy out of the monitoring zone. I will ask him about that for sure. I definitely will. He said he had a plan. So I guess we'll see. Maybe the plan all along was to get the mainnet launched and then Jasmy will be removed. I think that's probably what it is. Once they launch their mainnet, you'll probably see Jasmy removed from the monitoring zone. So probably, this is just a guess, probably not January, the first week of January, but probably like the first week of April, right? Q2 of next year. I think that's where you'll probably see Jasmy removed from the monitoring zone. Once their mainnet's launched, up and running and everything, yeah, that's my guess. Ari, good to see you. Good. I put a lien on my house, and sold my car. Ohouse says, got an idea. When someone asks when are we going parabolic, just say, in the next 4 years. Sometime in the next 4 years. Yep. Moto, thoughts on the food? Yes, that actually was one of the things I was going to talk about. That's a nothing burger to me, guys. I don't think that's like ETH has had upgrades in the past and it's done nothing for the price action of Ethereum. I think that's more of a nothing burger, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's not negative. It's just that too many people talk about it like it's going to be some sort of, moonshot catalyst. I just don't think it's going to be. I think it's just going to come and go, and most people won't even know that it happened. So, you should try the God Diner. Good burgers. Oh, check it out. Lunchtime. Glad I caught you. Ari, enjoy your lunch. Strawberry Dragon says, listening from my Fiat Factory prison. Yes, amen to that. Amen to that. You guys will be free from that eventually, right? What else do we have? Yeah, so these longs are like a snowball down a hill. They need to stop, right? And then like this thing, it's like a self-fulfilling, prophecy, when things get toxic and negative. And what people don't understand is that the same, like the people, if you don't want crypto, and this goes out to the masses, right? If you don't want crypto to go down, if you don't want it to like have these crashes when things are bad, when things are red, stop posting about them, because most people don't understand this. I understand that you think you're just one person and you don't have an effect, but just one person plus 10,000 people plus 100,000 people all posting negative sentiment online, because it's a snowball down a hill. You're contributing to the crash, further crash, because you're pushing out negative content. You're putting negativity out there, and you're convincing other people to sell their crypto at a loss because you're negative, and then they are negative, and then it's a chain reaction. It's like pushing dominoes down a hill. Again, I know you think you're just one person, and you being toxic is not going to affect anything, but if everyone who's being toxic thinks that exact same way, it's this mass effect, and the sentiment goes into the shitter, and then what happens is it just keeps crashing because people keep selling, because other people are posting that it's over, that it's negative, right? So when you're posting negative stuff, people need to be a little bit more intelligent with their social posting, right? They're emotional and they just start saying crazy stuff, and it causes a cascade effect, right? Um, we've seen it in chat rooms and stuff like that, where two or three people start posting negative stuff, and then you give it enough time, you give it 2 3 days, all of a sudden you come back to that same chat, and it is a cesspool of toxic venom, and everyone's negative and spewing toxicity, and you know it's just, call it a social experiment, whatever, right? But you got to keep your mouth shut when you're feeling that way, right? You can't you got to stop spreading the FUD and the fear, because it contributes to everyone selling, right? Moral of the story: don't be toxic. Yes, exactly, exactly, right? Think before you post. Think before you talk, right? Um, the algorithm catches like a magnet. Yes, exactly, exactly. And again, people think I'm just one person. Well, if a million people think I'm just one person and I'm going to post this negative comment, how many people are those million people affecting? Probably 10x, right? Probably 10 million people, right? How many of those 10 million people are going to sell and push that snowball further down the hill, right? So just think. That's all I'm saying. Just think. If you don't want negativity out there in the crypto space, or you want the sentiment to not be as bad, stop contributing to it, right? Simple. Don't contribute to it. Jesse and James, what's going on? Luke, study liquidity. If investors would just study macro liquidity, they would invest with confidence. Yeah, you're right, Luke. You're absolutely right. The problem is, most people say they don't have time. They say, I don't have time to do research. I don't have time to study. Well, how are you supposed to get rich then? If you don't have time if you don't have time to invest into the vehicle that you want to use to become rich, how do you expect to ever become rich if you're not investing that time? Are you going to work for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, working for someone else, only to come home and put Netflix on and not work for yourself, right? That time after work, when you get home, that's your opportunity. That's your window to research, to study, to learn, and that's you investing that time in yourself, right? You can't treat something like investing in crypto like it's a part-time, like, or not even a part, like it's a side thing that you just kind of do on the side. You have to when my first cycle, and I've explained this to people over on the Patreon, I treated crypto like I jumped into it, and learning about it and investing and researching. I treated it like a full-time job. Full-time job. Period. Because it was the vehicle that I was going to use. It was the weapon I was going to wield, sorry. It was the tool I was going to use to succeed. So why would I think that only investing, you know, a couple of minutes a day into that was going to change my life forever, right? You get out what you put in. Just something to think about. Potato Head with the super chat. Been DCAing last year and a half. Probably would have panic sold at some point if not for my man Rob. Still up on my portfolio. Thanks. Hey, Potato Head for the win, baby. Absolutely, man. Moto says I'd like to learn about liquidity pools, running a node, and mining. Exactly. Then you should the time that you're not spending, right, at work, you should be investing that time in learning these things, right? Don't just say and this isn't directed at you, Moto. Don't just, but most people say, well, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time to watch all your content. When my first cycle, you know what I was doing, guys? And no matter what I was doing physically, whether I was driving or I was at my desk working or whatever it was, I was at the gym, I was on the stair mills, at the treadmill, whatever it is I was doing, I always had crypto YouTube on in the background, listening to what was going on in the macro, listening to what the charts were saying. I always had it playing in the background. I never sat around watching Netflix and then said, I don't have time, right? Because I'm tired. That wasn't me. That's not how I succeeded, right? I committed myself. The way I looked at it was, a couple of years of sacrifice when it comes to time and energy is going to give me the rest of my life to do whatever I want with, right? As opposed to short-term pleasure, whether you're going out to the bar on the weekends or watching Netflix or whatever the case might be, right? I didn't take any breaks. Now my whole life is a break, right? So something to think about, guys. Should have said I am learning. There you go. There you go. Yeah. But anyway, guys, listen. I'll be live in 11:30, 12:30, about an hour and a half. I'll be live from my office downstairs. So make sure you guys come back for that. I will see you then. And like I said, if you're new here, make sure you jump over to the Patreon, guys. We got 8 different chat rooms buzzing. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on, make sure you're over there. Get all the updates, free newsletters, free courses, and so much more. So definitely check that out. I dropped 9 new trades in our trading group over there as well. I'll be dropping another 4 or 5 today. So you're going to want to check that out also. The link will be down below in about 20 minutes. So check that out. And click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. It's a great day to have a great day, guys. I'll see you in about an hour and a half. God bless.